Hey, it's Justin Popovic here, and today I have a special guest, little audio slash video interview. You won't be able to see our video feeds, but you'll see a couple photos of us on the screen. Two handsome gentlemen, if I can say so ourselves. On the line, I have Steve Dougherty. Are you there, Steve?
I am. Hi, Justin. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. And what we're doing here is we actually have a Skype call going, and then I'm going to be basically merging this with a video, so you guys can, anybody who wants to listen in, can kind of get a background experience, a little behind the scenes, learn about Steve and the special promotion that he's put together for just for us, for my team, my subscribers and customers, which is super exciting because first and foremost, I'm a customer of Steve's and absolutely love his content. But more importantly, throughout the year, I guess really dating back early part of 2015, maybe even last year, we started chatting a bit more on Skype, and I've been promoting a few of his products and vice versa, and we really like working together. So I thought this was a great opportunity because a lot of people come to our help desk looking for video PLR, and it's just really not our specialty. So I often send them over to Steve, and he takes care of them. So, Steve, I just wanted to ask you a few questions so my folks can get a chance to know you a little better, and if they want to take a look at your special offer, gives them a bit of background, some context of where you came from. So why don't you start off by telling us a little
Cool.
bit about yourself and your business and what you do?
All right. Well, thank you much for the intro. And my name's Steve, and I've been in the video creation business since I'd say about 2006 was whenever I first started dipping my toe in that water. Seriously, since about 2008, and basically, I just found a need for what I thought was better video training, and that led into what I found was lacking in the niche of white labeling or private label rights in videos. I had seen a ton of private label rights in written content, like what Justin puts out there, but just not a lot in video content. So I figured, well, since I'm kind of in the market of doing videos, why not go ahead and fill that niche? There seems to be a demand for it. And it seems like over the years, that demand has just grown. And thankfully, I was at the beginning of that growth spurt. So I've kind of benefited along the way. And since then, I've learned a lot in creating not just private label rights videos, but better quality videos. And I know that because I've actually gone back and listened to some of my original videos, and it's not even a chuckle, it's almost a full belly laugh of the difference between then and now.
Yeah, I
So,
can relate. I look at some of my earlier YouTube videos and it's painful. I want to delete
really,
them, but I keep them up there just because it reminds me of how far I've come.
exactly. That's a good thing. Good thing.
Yeah, and I can attest, and not to keep cutting you off, but I can definitely attest to the whole video PLR. Very, very difficult to find a lot of stuff out there. And as somebody who has done some, I think I know why. It's extremely difficult to put together a whole product. It's one thing if you want to do like one little tutorial video that's 5 minutes long, but a suite of trainings or tutorials where it's high quality video and you're the speaker and you're on the hook to make it all come together. It's not an easy thing to do, and I think that's probably why you've had the success you've had. Is just there's not many people that are able to pull it off.
Yeah, and to the and thank you for that. And I think there is a bit of a difference, actually a large difference between making a training video and
Hmm.
making a private label right training video. There's actually a lot more work going into it. Time for me to toot my own horn here. You have to make sure, if done properly, you have to make sure that there aren't any breadcrumbs leading the viewer of that video back to the original creator. Because if I'm selling private label rights, the buyers of that private label right video wants to be able to present it as their own creation. And that's tough to do if I've got my picture plastered all over the place, or if I've got my name all over the place, which is typically what you're going to be doing when you're creating a training video. You want to not just get the word out on that topic, but also promote yourself. Well, I have not been promoting myself by way of these videos since 2008 because I try to make sure that there are no breadcrumbs leading back to the original creator, which again, I think kind of sets my private label rights videos above and beyond others that are out there or others that claim to be private label rights or white label videos.
Absolutely. That was, again, a huge reason, just as speaking as a customer of yours, why it made it so easy to make the buying decision. It wasn't something I had to worry about. And, I've been on the other end. I've created certain video PLRs. Some of them I was able to pull it off. It wasn't easy, but other ones that I sold had my name, or at least had stories that I told from my experience. But if you're reselling that content, that story's not yours, and it makes it a little bit harder to justify that. So definitely appreciate what you're saying there, and I'm sure people listening, if they haven't bought video PLR before, well, now you actually got a huge education there. You want to make sure you look for stuff like that.
And that's exactly right. And that's one of the things that I try to impress upon potential buyers, is that whether you're buying from me or from anybody else out there that's promoting that product as a private label right video, make sure that there's at least a sample video on that sales page so that you can kind of hear and see what you're about to get.
Yeah. And sometimes those sample videos are not published on the sales page for a reason. They're horrible. And I've bought some horrible ones, and I'm thinking, I can't use this. Like, it was just terrible. So
yep.
If it's video PLR, it should be on display, is what you're saying.
Exactly. They should at least some kind of a sampling of what you're about to purchase. Otherwise, that's why they make that back button at the top of your browser.
Yeah, exactly. Or the little X if you're using tabs, which I do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's great. So why don't you, if we can just dive right in, just to cut to the chase, can you give a little bit of an overview of the special offer that we've put in place here for the reason we're creating this particular video?
Well, sure. And special is a bit of an understatement. Anybody that knows me knows that I would not normally do something like this. But I've got 5 different video suites put together. One on Aweber, which is I get these mixed up. One's 22 videos, and the other one, Get Response, is I think 24 videos. Mm-hmm. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look real quick here.
I think you had it right, but yeah, maybe you can verify that. And it'll say on the sales page.
Yeah, Aweber is 22, and the Get Response is 24. Hey, I was right. And then I've got another set for S2 Member, which is a WordPress membership site plugin. It's the free version. They also have a pro version, but this set of videos is on the free version. Mm-hmm. And then I've got another set on online security, and another set on free graphics tools, which covers pretty well in depth on how to use GIMP and PicMonkey. And I think it even touches base a little bit on Paint.net, just briefly. But mostly it's PicMonkey and GIMP.
Yeah, and that last one, the graphics editing, is getting bigger by the day. People using more image. I mean, if you're on Facebook and you don't have a graphic in your post, if you're using it for marketing, you're kind of making a mistake. You really need it. So more and more people are actually looking for do-it-yourself graphics tools. So that's a huge one, in my opinion.
Right. Well, that and the online security, unfortunately, is becoming more and more important almost every day.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, whenever the hackers are getting hacked, that should say something to you.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big one recently in the news. And they're like, stop using our software. Stop using our hacking tools because it's hurting us. Well, you shouldn't have built it in the first place, maybe.
That's a good idea.
So not to cut you off. So, yeah, you put 5 of these together, and you normally would, I mean, if you wanted to own all of the licenses to these, you'd have to make 5 different purchases, correct?
Correct, yes. And each one of those would range from $37 to $57 or even $77.
Right. Yeah, I know the autoresponder ones are huge, so you'd be looking at a significant investment just to get those 22 or 24 videos.
Correct, and it's not just the videos. Remember, this is a private label rights set, so you get the transcripts, you get various formats, the source files to the videos, Camproj files if you're a Camtasia Studio owner, of course, source files for all the images, a sales page, and the graphics for that sales page for each one of those individual products. So, yeah, you're pretty well loaded down on each one of these products.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And like Steve was saying, it's not something he does all that often. So I'm really grateful. And for those of you listening, hopefully you like what you see. Obviously, we don't need to go into a full breakdown of all of the ins and outs of each product because they can link to the page and actually see it. You've built it all out for them. But I wanted to really highlight the fact that this is not something you're going to see very often or very long for that matter. So if you happen to be watching this video after the special offer is over, keep an eye on, maybe something in the future if it works out well. But, you want to make sure that you grab something like this when it becomes available, because it doesn't really last all that long. And it makes sense. Obviously, Steve, you don't want your stuff floating around for these types of rates for very long.
Correct. And I think that underscores the word special in special offer.
Yeah. Mega special or something. I gotta break out my my little thesaurus of like marketing speak, those underlying bold red words, and put it in front of the word special. So the next question I like to ask in these types of interviews is, why should people buy from you? You've covered, I think, a good deal of that earlier. But, what else? What if there's people kind of on the fence, or they're looking at this and they're thinking, oh, this is pretty good quality. What else would you tell somebody that may haven't made up their mind yet to go ahead and make a purchase?
Well, I think one thing that sets my video packages apart from others, besides some of the things I've already mentioned, is one thing, and that is the ability to easily edit what I call the intro and outro images, because that's probably one of the easiest things to rebrand these videos, because that's one of the things that scares people a lot. And looking at a video versus the written word, you can more easily edit or repurpose the written word, like your products, where it's not that easy in doing it with videos. I make it a little bit easier. And that is with these opening and closing splash screens, or intro and outro images. And I've got a custom Camprage file and a custom PSD or Photoshop image file that goes along with every one of these packages that I sell, that with the extra training that I provide on each one of these, and that's included on the download page too for these purchases, on how to edit these custom files to quickly change or replace the existing opening and closing placeholder screens with your own branded ones. And what might normally take, if you do this, what I would consider to be manually, what might take several days or even weeks to edit the over 100 some odd video opening and closing screens that are in existence right now on this particular special package, can be done in several hours. And I show how to do that on the extra training on the download page. So I would think that would be probably, along with the other items that I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest reasons to purchase PLR videos from me opposed to somebody else, because I don't see this type of added benefit anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right. It can actually be a huge pain, or just not even an option in some video PLR. You just can't. It'd be a lot of work anyway to really rebrand it.
Exactly. And I spend the extra time that I think a lot of others would find not necessary. I spend that extra time to make sure that these custom files are available, so the purchaser of my products have that ability if they so desire. And I strongly suggest that they at least do the minimum of editing before they resell. Redo before you resell.
Yeah, that's a good little motto to follow. And I'll speak on your behalf a little bit too here, considering my question was, why should they buy from you? Well, aside from the fact that I'm recommending it, and I'm not going to recommend anything I don't believe in, and I think people reading my emails or whatever have stayed on my list because they trust me. But I mean, you can tell just from the short interview that Steve knows what he's talking about. I mean, it's not like he just got into video this month or last year or whatever. He's been doing it for a long time, and you want to be able to bank on somebody that has that kind of experience. To me, a good PLR package, really any kind of digital file or content that you want to buy, you're trying to leverage their experience and their background to save yourself time and give yourself an opportunity. So when it comes to something like PLR, you're getting great quality material that's an asset for you to sell, but you're also dealing with somebody that you can really count on. And I guess maybe a question I have for you, Steve, is if people wanted to, maybe they have a scenario in their mind, right? They're looking at this special offer you have in place, or maybe they're even on your main website looking around, and they have an idea, I'd like to use this PLR this way, whatever that way may be. Can they run that by you before they buy? Do you have a way for people to ask you maybe custom implementation questions before they buy?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's kind of leads me into another point that I forgot to mention, and that is my ability to get in, for folks to be able to get in touch with me. Customer service to me is number one. Mm-hmm. So if they have question, comment, suggestion, hey, what about this kind of thing, by all means, get in touch with me. I try to reply within a couple of hours, not a couple of days, but a couple of hours. At the very longest, it's been 24 hours. But usually that's what I pride myself on, is staying in touch with the customers that contact me. Now, as far as being able to contact me, pretty easy. Most every one of my websites has a contact us link. They can put in the message and I'll get it forwarded to my main email. So I'll get all of those emails almost, well, instantaneously. And I've decided to try something new, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to have it on this sales page by tomorrow or not, but I'm trying to start getting a chat service, a live help chat line set up on all my sites. So I haven't learned enough about it from the admin side of things yet to be able to feel comfortable to slap it on there. But if you see that on there, then by all means, hit me up that way as well.
Cool. Yeah. Well, just to give people full behind the scenes, I've used something like that called FlyZoo. That's one of the plugins I tried, and it worked really well for especially like cases like this where it's a short-term special and people are like, oh, I kind of have to decide quick, but I'm not getting an answer. I would literally just chat with them live. They'd ask questions that I never considered. So I didn't have any FAQs like this on my sales page. So I was really glad I had it there. So if you see that there for Steve's, then make sure you use that live chat feature. Otherwise, it sounds like it's not going to be an issue to get an answer via email. So either way, you'll be well taken care of. Plus, you can always come to me or my help desk, and we can forward any questions on as well.
Exactly. And I'm available, whether it's email, Skype, chat, and I'm going to try to get one on there, but I don't want to hold out any guarantees on that, but I'm not difficult to get a hold of at all.
There you go. So yeah, one way or the other, we'll make sure you're taken care of. So that's about it, Steve. Thanks for taking time for this call. Hopefully, those of you listening got some value. Got a chance to know Steve a little bit better, and hopefully, you really like the offer he's put together here. I'm blown away by it. So, and I can tell you that I've used every one of those products in my business, and they're all awesome. So make sure you have a close look. It's a very short-term special. And if you do you have anything to add before we go here?
I think we pretty much covered everything. And like you had mentioned, if anybody has any questions, just get a hold of me.
Perfect. Thanks again, Steve. And thank you for listening. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.